So people have asked what it's about, and then when we start talking about, the make a difference aspect of like just being a positive influence, just have a conversation, see where it leads. The different, like, working with the cleanup programs and working with different nonprofits and collaborating. So it was just like the make a difference was the main focus, and that's math. All right, here you go.
Good morning, everybody. Today is our second episode of the Saturday Artist Live interviews. And today we're going to be doing an episode with Morgan Walters, and I will invite her just now.
There we are. Hello, Miss Morgan.
Hello.
I finally got my earbuds set up to where I can actually hear everything, and hopefully the audio will be a lot better for this episode.
Okay.
Great to see you, Dwight. Thanks for your comment. But first, let's get some introductions going. So, who are you and what do you do?
I am Morgan Walters, and I do a plethora of things. Artist, animal lover, and owner of M.A.D Collab Studios, but team effort. Owner is just paper.
Always is a team effort for anything good. So my first question is, how did you get into art? Like, was it always like a childhood thing, or did you just kind of fall into it?
I remember trying to draw like the opening scene when Lion King came out. Like I would color in things, and there were just certain scenes that I wanted to draw, or I would draw over and over again. And so like I would just kind of make these little doodles, and that was my thing. And then I ended up meeting my cousin when I was 10 who drew comics professionally, and that just blew my mind. So then MTV came out, and I was watching like Daria, and Nickelodeon was big at the time. So just drawing these little characters, like offshoots of real monsters, and yeah, so it's been a thing. And then I took a break all through school. I drew things on the side, or I would write poetry, but then when it came to any art classes, it just wasn't a thing. To be honest, I dropped out of high school. Like I wasn't really a fan of going. But took a basic drawing class in college, started painting when I was in college and just kind of self-taught, and then started doing craft fairs. And then my friend tricked me into getting involved with a con and started hanging, did a book cover. And then I got introduced to Denny Carmen through the Spokane Authors and Self-Publishers meeting. There was a gal, MJ Hudson, who she's a local author, and she writes for Art Chowder too. And then she just stood up when I brought a painting and was like, "Do you know Denny Carmen?" "Why, no, you should meet Denny Carmen." And then the snowball from there. So
That's an awesome, epic story.
Actually, so like last night we had gone to Garland. So I met Denny. He got me hanging at the Blue Door Theater first and getting involved with the Flower Mill events. And then last night we actually got to pass the Blue Door. So it was such like a nostalgic thing to be back in that area and see that. And actually there's an artist hanging there now, Lawrence Lund, who's involved here with M.A.D. So to see a kind of a M.A.D artist in the same place that I started hanging was really, really cool. And I don't know.
That's really awesome. What kind of art do you do? Like any particular style, or are you kind of eclectic, or?
One of the, like, if you were to do like the Instagram reel of like, I don't have a style, I challenge myself. It's the most random stuff. Like I have one drawing, Big Booty, which is a culmination of when I got a How to Draw Dragons book, and I was also studying pinup poses. So we've got this like dragon in a pinup pose, and I'm like, oh, well, that was this experiment. Or I'll see a flower that I like and want to recreate that with like Prismacolor. I I've noticed that if I'm drawing and things, I kind of have a cartoony style, illustrative style. Even when I'm painting animals, like it still has kind of like a cutesy sort of thing to it. It doesn't have that photorealistic style that I've tried to do. It's still like kind of cartoonish. But I've done a little comic book work, some pages there. Probably will do some posters and things, but it depends on the day. I might get a commission for photorealistic hands or a sunset silhouette background. Just depends what's going on.
So kind of like all around, but mostly you are drawn towards more illustrative type of work?
Yes. And I just got an Apple Pencil and such, so moving into some digital work. It's a new challenge after like, okay, I'm going to go pen and ink. All right, now we're adding some Prismacolor pencils. I'll enhance that digitally a little bit. Oh, great. Now there's Copic markers. That's a whole other thing. And then trying to get the blending with that and then match that with the digital art. And then, oh, well, here's digital art in its entirety. Watch this. So I like the challenge.
Yeah, we just got a comment.
The elk was realistic, and I appreciate that. But when you see an elk next to my elk, there is definitely a cartoony, like, and the owl too, that owl on the fence post. It's cute. People love it, but it's not the photorealistic owl that I was going for.
Photorealism is a little overrated in my opinion anyways. Because then, like, if nowadays we can just take pictures with our phones. There seems to be, like, more creativity and being able to express yourself through different, modes of, like, how you see it rather than what is just there,
Well, and I call that, like, there was a time I was really trying to challenge myself with it. And I've got this one painting. I was watching this here, like how to do a realistic eye, how to do a realistic nose. And what I found at the end of the painting, it was all of these realistic features were from different faces. So the end result was not ideal in any way, shape, or form, but I learned something with that. And then now, so I call those times when I was trying to get photorealistic my mimicking phase. I just wanted to mimic. I wanted to be able to make what I was seeing in front of me. And now I just kind of go with it, like, it'll be fun.
It's good to have both worlds to where you can, if you want to, you can copy what you see, but also just do what you can imagine. Is there any like artists that you draw inspiration from particularly, or someone that's really influenced your life through their art?
Well, like, it's funny, my cousin, and now that I'm getting more into the art world and stuff, like, I always knew that he did the thing, but the more people I talked to, like, I talked to an artist last night. So we were at Giant Nerd Books at one of their events, and we were talking to just Chad Shears, and I had gone outside, and there was a row of comics, and I see this one, and I just see the itty bitty tippy tip top, and just like a half centimeter, and it just pings something in my brain, and I grab it, and sure enough, it's Twilight X, and I had never found it in a place before, so I come inside, and I'm like, I found a Twilight X, and Chad actually goes like, oh, I know that guy. I know him. I went to high school with him. I'm like, oh, yeah. So it's very interesting. And then we were out at Lake City Comic Con, and I was talking to another artist, and we were talking about inspirations. And once I met Joe, and I got to see that there was things could be done professionally, and it was his own series that he was printing. And so these were characters, that somebody came up with in their brain that are now like imprinted on somebody like me. So when I met him, he was 32, I was 10. And actually it wasn't until this year that we got to sit down and have a conversation. I'm like, I don't think you understand how much your work impacted me. Like, you think it's just a series, but it just like blew my mind that something in your mind is now on the shelves and is part of this history. So him and Todd McFarlane. And it irked me when I try to draw comics because Todd can do solid blacks. And it, or he'll do these series online. It's really helpful with the digital and watching his series of like, oh, we're just going to create these little things. And they go pew, 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 pew. And he makes these noises as he makes all the little dots and stuff is super helpful. But those two, definitely. I can't think of any others that I really kind of followed, like even at cons, like, oh my God, I found a Todd Toys original. Um, and even some of the, now you see in studio where that is. So there's Spawn Cups places, or Fletcher, he brought in a little biolayer that's now on the front desk with a welcome home. And so it's very interesting to watch how the different nerdoms coincide. And the fact that Todd McFarlane actually went to SFCC for a period of time, like if I'm ever feeling down, I'll drive past and be like, he was there. He was there at that baseball field. Like, embrace the Todd, channel the Todd.
That's awesome. So how did Mad Collab come about?
Completely by accident. Absolutely. Like, this was not, it was, so during the pandemic, all right, let's go back. Let's start way back. So when we were on Garland, and we were trying to hang the art there at Blue Door Theater, a transformer actually blew. And so, so the entire block goes dark, and this is the first time I've really interacted with Denny in like a work environment. I didn't even know he was going to be there to hang the art. And so everything goes dark, and he thinks that I'm going to freak out. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, because in pops this fire truck that blocks in both of our cars right in front of the thing. And so we're actually hanging the art by the light of the fire truck. And I've got pictures and video and stuff. Like, it was just such a, like, why not? Here we go. And so the Garland actually, like, a bunch of people came out of the businesses. It was dark at that point, you know, like when the transformer blew, everybody like, whoa, what happened? So we go out, and Denny and I are just looking around, and we hear this thing that this person go like, I think I just witnessed the birth of a superhero, because he got to see like the transformer blow and just lightning, like Ages of Thor sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I turned to Denny after hearing that. I was like, you know, if this relationship goes well, that'll probably be the title of the book. And then from there, he got me involved with the flour mill events. And after an event, he turned the flour mill location over to me. So we had 10 artists, 10 to 12 artists, depending on what was going on. And it was such a small area in the flour mill that everybody just kind of like, when folks weren't there making sales, it was like, man, I really like your setup, or where'd you get your business cards, or what about this over here? And so we started kind of developing sort of that vendor group, and it was such a small crew, it just worked. And so then COVID happened, and everything got shut down, all indoor stuff, like, we're done. But the artists were still kind of looking for something. And they had gone to like several different groups, and it just wasn't sort of fitting right. And when COVID went down, there was a guy, Chuck Harmon, who's the president of the River Ridge Association of Fine Arts now. Denny was previously the president. Chuck's wife suggested that people put art in their windows as folks drove by to kind of lighten the mood of everything that was going down. And then Denny proposed that idea. I'm like, okay, so what if we make it treasure maps? Because he was talking about just having all of these addresses. I'm like, I had just made a treasure map for one of my friend's kids, like traveling around the backyard for someone to do. Like, let's make treasure maps of Spokane. Let's do it. So Art on the Go became the thing. And then during all that, we did 3 rounds of Art on the Go. Lowest amount, we had 42. The biggest show, we had 104. It was really freaking cool. But Denny shows me this building downtown of somebody who wants a mural done. And there were 2 spaces for rent in this building. And so we had looked at the spot, and he's like, what do you think? Like, I think the artist need a spot. And I was envisioning kind of the flour mill thing. We could fit like 10 vendors in there. All right. And then the other side was supposed to be this photography space. Long story short, that area didn't work out. The parking was horrendous, like 2-hour stuff. Like it just wasn't going to be conducive for what was going on. So then Anthony started looking on Craigslist, and we're just having coffee, and there's this Craigslist ad, attention all artists looking to start an art collective. Okay. So this guy had got a building and had envisioned an art thing, but he wasn't really an artist. He's an art appreciator. Wasn't sure how to do it. And we had just finished up Art on the Go. So it was like, I mean, we got artists. We could figure some stuff out. So as we toured this building, he just kept opening doors and opening doors. And if you've been to M.A.D, but for the folks who haven't been to M.A.D, it just keeps going, and it's this big figure 8 pattern, and you wouldn't have any idea there's as much space as there is. But so we toured the building with the landlord and kept opening doors, and we went home that night, and we were living in an RV. Like, it just, like, this could be something massive. And hypothetically, if we did it, if we got the whole space and we just made a space multi-purpose for artists to do what they do, it could be like Art Gym. Like if everybody threw in, we would do a monthly membership. We'll see what happens. We had 104 artists for Art on the Go. So it was like, all right. The artists do want things to be active. They want interactive. They want to meet other people. Like, let's do this. And it's just progressed from there. Like no plan that we had has gone forward. Everything from there has been just working with it as it comes. Like somebody new will walk up, somebody will leave, somebody will contact us from the other side of the state or country, or we've actually got new art in from an artist from Uganda that will be showing LC art. So this thing has grown beyond anything that we ever imagined, and it just came down to an idea of like, okay, we got the space, it's feasible. If we don't do this, we're going to be sitting in our wheelchairs at 80 going, yeah, but what if we did? And so we went all in. And it was like, what do we have to do? Are we going to do murals? Are we going to do events? What are we going to do? How do we make this work? And so it's a constant think tank of like, what are we going to do next? And that you've seen it. You've been in on the meetings like, all right, guys, here's the plan for the next month. Ta-da!
It's one of my favorite things about M.A.D is it's in constant evolution. It's every single time I go there, if there's something new that's happening, there's always some new event that's like, hey, so now we're going to be doing this next week.
Right. So this person called and they want to do a weekly event. So this person called and guess what we're doing in November? So this person, I guess we're planning for spring. But yeah, just solidifying dates. The calendar is filling up with different things. I feel like word is definitely out about this place with the amount of folks who are contacting us from different universities, different organizations, different programs that we're getting scheduled and things. And then like as these projects become bigger, and now we're trying to coordinate with different time zones on these calls to get everybody, okay, you want to be involved in the committee, you. All right, well, I guess we're going to have to catch everybody up because nobody's on a similar schedule here. So you've got Denny in here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. Chris is usually in after 4. Wyatt is in, I'd say 5 to 6 days a week. So, and that's been a new development. Wyatt Cecil and his tattoo studio. Saranka has been doing more.
Amazing artists.
Yeah.
All of them, everybody there.
It's such an interesting team. And then the fact that everybody has worked with enough similar materials that they have things to talk about. And so it just becomes this think tank of everybody like, oh yeah, I did work with that. Have you ever tried it on this? Well, no, I didn't think about that. Well, what about the chemical reactions to this? And like, then it turns into chemistry lessons of like, well, let's look at, is this stainless steel? Is this? So you have no idea where the conversations are going to lead. It could go from like composition on a perspective art piece to like different committees for this, that, or the other thing, or found something online, or a new collaboration. We're talking with folks all over. So it's just so fun. I see Lord Kanesh, which is Shane Stevenson, that we went to middle and high school together. Love your art. Thank you. Shane and I have not been able to get together. That is my fault. I apologize for the massive, like, the schedule is nuts. Zeke will tell you.
It is. There's just so much going on every day. And so I would like to talk about, how did you guys come up with the name M.A.D?
Oh, well, like the main thing on a lot of the events is just like making a difference. Just the having that reaction, like a conversation somewhere along the line. So at first, Denny was like, oh, Morgan Anthony Denny. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. Absolutely not. And it just seemed like make a difference. He's like, oh, Eureka. And so the name, actually, there was a very early crew, a whole bunch of artists were in this group conversation. So, like, there's been folks come and gone, new chapters, the whole shebang. So in the early days, there were these group chats, and it's like, okay, what's going to go? What's going to go? And so we had talked about, like, M.A.D, Lab, really like the Beakers thing. Our original logo was done by Freddie Throne. New things. So we moved to the new stuff. But, like, early on, it was how? Because there were so many people involved, it was really hard to get any sort of thing solidified. So one of the too many chefs in the kitchen sort of deal. So then we kept it simple and did, I say simple. We thought it was a funny play on words, M.A.D Collab Studios. So kind of like put in the title that this place is about collaboration. It did backpack, as you've seen with the marketing. Like, it's great that folks call us M.A.D. I hear MADCO, M.A.D Lab, M.A.D Studios. We're on Spokane's top 10 museums, only because, like, I don't think there's not 10 museums. All right, like, I don't know. But, yeah, so people have asked what it's about, and then when we start talking about, the make a difference aspect of, like, just being a positive influence, just have a conversation, see where it leads. The different, like, working with the cleanup programs and working with different nonprofits and collaborating. So it was just, like, the make a difference was the main focus, and that's M.A.D. All right, here you go. And then the collab, play on words, let's all laugh together. And studios, it just seemed to fit because, like, it was the middle of the pandemic, and I was seeing all these, like, such and such gallery, all of these things, and it seemed to kind of, like, put it in a box. But with a collaborative space like this and the idea of so many things being involved, I mean, there's been talks about a movie studio. So, like, it just seemed to fit that studios could be anything. It could be a tattoo studio, a cosmetology studio, photography. Like, you know what? Studios. You never know what kind of studio it's going to be in here. We'll have photography shoots, music videos. Like, what studio will it be today? Come collab and find out.
That brings me to my next question. So, like, what, like, services do you guys do? Because, like, besides being a gallery where artists can hang their work, what other things do you guys do at M.A.D?
Oh, man. So it depends on the project. It depends on the person. There are some artists that walk in that have been in the game for a hot minute, and they have press releases and websites and social media, and they've got their posters done, and here's the whole shebang. Some already have their tags, their QR codes. Some have never hung at all. And so when we talk to each artist and try to figure out what it is they are interested in, or what they've done, who they've been with. So, like, a lot of people don't know about the Spokane Authors and Self-Publishers group. And so, like, we try to connect folks with people in their interest, because you never know what that's going to lead to. And so it's been really fun having artists in studio. Like, we just got a new member, Becky, who has special effects experience as well. So then connecting her with Chris, and now those two are chatting. But as for services, you know, we do have art classes, whether they be like one-off sip and spin, pottery classes, sip and paint, private team building things. So we try to schedule those out. Birthday parties, celebrations of life, the music videos and such, places to film. If somebody needs design services, now with the Spokane Small Business and Entrepreneurs Networking Group that's meeting here, it's become something entirely different. Like, do you need lawn care? Do you need a house cleaner, bookkeeping? We got all the cards here. So what is it that you're looking for, and how can we help you get to the next step? So I keep telling people, send me an email, start a conversation. Like, it really depends on what they really need. But I mean, you have been an artist in studio. You have been here for a hot minute now. Like, what is your perspective on what you see happening at M.A.D? Because I think people think I'm biased, which I get it. And so when I tell them about things, they're like, oh, that's cool, I've heard about it. But what is your perspective being here?
I would say it's become more than just a gallery or a studio. It's more like a community hub at this point, or at least becoming that. Because as you say, there's not just artists there, there's also business people networking, there's a tattoo shop. So there's pretty much anything that you could want from like a community center coming together. And there seems to be always more and more things being built. So I don't know, I think it's the next big hub for Spokane to just whatever you need, you can probably meet someone at M.A.D that will at least have some kind of interest or can connect you to the right people. It's a great place, I would say, for networking and also just meeting awesome people and just having fun conversations. So it's one of my favorite things to do is just go there and just hang out, because I never know what's going to happen next. I never know what's going to be walking through the door. Sometimes it's just random, like, awesome artists that I've seen online, like, I love your work. And I just don't know what to say. Or I really see it as kind of like Spokane's next community hub, because of, like, it's centrally located. I think it's a lot easier to access than like you'd be led to believe, just because it's right off Trent, and it's got it's not like everywhere else in Spokane where, like, you have to, as you said, like, you have to find parking, and then it's like maybe you get 2 hours worth of parking and you have to pay for it. It's like, no, you just stop on by. And it's got that, I remember Anthony explained once, kind of a Ninja Turtles warehouse thing where, like, where you go, it looks very kind of
Stabby.
Like,
just say it's okay.
It reminds me of like some kind of outcast art community, like, hideout. You go in there and the space is huge and it's so eclectic that it doesn't feel like, oh, I can't touch anything, I can't walk anywhere, and I just gotta be like to myself. You know, like, I've been in some galleries, it's like I feel anxious being in here. Where this place, it feels relaxing. You sit down, you can strike up a conversation with anyone. And I just love being able to talk to the artists, like talking to Chris yesterday about some of his 3D printing and like some of the things he's doing. And it's just the excitement in his voice and his expressions. It's just awesome to feel that kind of energy, which is always at M.A.D. If I feel a little down, I go to M.A.D. And
well, I mean, Chris has presented a whole new energy to the thing, and so when we go out with Chris, I feel bad because, like, I've realized there's 2 of us. We are very, very, very similar in our personalities, and so Anthony has to, like, be the voice of reason, like, no, children, we cannot. And so I appreciate it for that, because, like, I think artists need that grounding, and especially like I see how anxiety he gets with things, and then just becoming the glue that, like, everybody has worked with some sort of material that Chris has worked with, and then he just twists it and, like, have you tried it this way? And now, like, even Fletcher working on roller coaster projects and designs, and, like, so I was just actually talking to the comic book cousin this morning, And just, I don't know where this place is going. I don't know with the artists involved. We met several folks last night where I'm like, the new players, here we go. We have no clue what's going to happen, but I'm excited about it. And I'm excited to hear your perspective because, I mean, I hear a lot of things. Like the whole stabbiness thing, I get it. It's a factory, a retired, old factory. Like, it is what it is. We're in the industrial area of Spokane. Sorry about the weeds over there. That's technically railroad property, and we can't really do a whole lot about that. The parking was great, and being able, like, I know that when all the roads open up from all the construction, it'll be a lot easier, but we're between Freya and Napa. Like, SCC is right there. Gonzaga's right there. Downtown, less than a mile away, and it's a nice scenic drive under the bridge and such when you go from MLK. Really depends on, what it is. We've had folks, we'll watch them in the parking lot, they pull in, and they pull out. Especially before we had like proper signage and stuff. And I'm like, if you just take the adventure and walk through the doors, I promise. I can't do a lot about outside yet, but
Mhm.
it's coming.
But also, it's still a very new place.
Huh?
It's still a very new place. So you guys have so much more to do and more things that you guys are constantly working on. This is not the final project right now. What's there is in evolution. So people might be a little standoffish at the moment, but even then, like, everything's constantly changing. It's always looking more and more like, I can't even explain what, because I've never seen anything like that.
To be honest, when it comes to the outside, so we got 44 window spaces down there that are 7 foot by 4 foot that artists can do murals in. Now, I'm planning on doing one. Gatti has done one. We've got Sam White's in some of the window spaces. He had larger work to go in. But beautifying the outside of the building we have been approved for. My thing is, I don't want to move forward on something when, it's not like your average business popping up where, like, okay, we've got a construction renovation budget of $250,000 and make it look industrial with all of these pipes that are like all of these other architectures that's being like, this place could be built by the artist. So like, I'm talking to folks who have massive public art installation experience. Like, hey, you guys want to go buck wild? Like, we can do a thing here and make it one of those Spokane landmarks, because we're not going anywhere. So as this building develops and, we can do events in the east parking lot. We can fit up to 50 vendors there, but having food trucks and live entertainment and stuff, we're making the connections to make these things massive. Local Motion did an epic event out there that I'm like, whew, the bar has been set, So after something like that, really just want to sign other folks on to have bigger events out there when weather permits, because the summer can get pretty nasty on that asphalt.
Mm-hmm. So what's coming up in events for Mad Collabs for October?
So we've got figure drawing with Inland Northwest Figure Drawing every Wednesday, 5 to 8 p.m. If you go on their Facebook page and register, you just say that you're going and such, and it helps get an idea for how many they're in the class, drawing from the live model. On Fridays, we have the Spokane Small Business and Entrepreneurs Networking Group meeting. Last night, there were 20 people in here, and not including, like, the folks. So, like, the group is growing, and people were here till 8 p.m. Like, it ended at 4:30. That's how much fun they were having. So, it's been fun to see, like, how late folks will stay. And by that note, I know they're comfortable. Like, this is a space that they don't feel like they have to hurry out of. So that's been nice. But the big event, sir, is going to be the Dark Arts event, the damn Dark Arts event, drinks, art, music. And so that's going to be October 29th Festivities start at 6 p.m. Celestial Beans will be slinging drinks, new flavors. She's got the beer and wine license, responsibility, ID required. But like, that's the artists that are signing on for that. Like, if you've been to M.A.D lately, there are some blank walls. But we are taking submissions until the 23rd. So I've got artists taking out, I got artists coming in, and we got new things being built. I can't imagine what's about to come in from some of these artists. Huge surprises. We'll be doing more videos and promos as it arrives and gets up and such, but plenty of time in between now and then to get the things situated. So I'm excited. Met even more artists last night who some were scared to come in. They were intimidated, but like by the gallery portion, and I get that. I talk to so many artists, and I get that folks are intimidated by the term gallery, but it's not like that anymore, guys. We've got a really fun spot here, so like to meet artists and let them know, like, no, you're welcome to come. Like, we're not judging you, we're not putting you on the thing. There is you don't fit this show. Like, there's something for everybody here in some way, shape, or form. So that dark arts event is for the artists outside the bell curve, for the ones who felt that they don't belong somewhere, or they've been told no because it doesn't fit a certain aesthetic. And I get it. Everybody can run their business the way they want. Here, this is a castle for misfit toys. Come and be yourself. I know it's a weird concept in today's society, but I encourage you to come be yourself. If you have a type of way of not being yourself, well, like, hey, check in. What's up? What's going on? How you doing? And you've seen it. Like, it's just more so trying to be that supportive environment. So if you're looking for like a Halloween shindig that will go through New Year's, the Dark Arts event is going to pop off with some epic surprises. Chris will be unveiling his 2023 project, the artist signing on, the costume contests. Speaking of which, if you go on the Mad Collab Studios website, there are face painting, body painting, mask making classes available through Chris. So, and just so folks know, on that, there's no dates on there because the mask making and such are 3 and 5 day classes. So if you call us, when we try to adhere things to your schedule, because we understand folks work and they got families and lives and all sorts of stuff. So we try to make art accessible for all. Please call us. Send an email. I assure you it'll.
Where can people contact you? Like, what's your website or?
Website is madcolabstudios.com. Instagram at madcolabstudios. Facebook. That if you're emailing Morgan at madcolabstudios, you reach me. As for phone calls, I am pretty hard to reach. So please refer to the website for phone calls. Anthony's number is on there, and he is the ceramic studio manager. He schedules classes. He's here when I am not, when I am at meetings. So if you are trying to get a quick answer, please contact Anthony, because I am off doing a lot of things.
So what is the address and what are the hours for the gallery at the moment?
The address is 3038 East Trent Ave, and that's Suite 213. So we're on the south side of the building. We are closest to the train tracks. There is a door past a Daniel Lopez mural that has M.A.D on it with phone number and such. That is the correct door. And you go upstairs. Our hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Better check the websites and social media, because that doesn't mean our events are during those hours. They will often go on into the night. That's just basically for gallery viewing. So if you're somebody who wants to tour, The best time would be between 11 and 6, Wednesday through Saturday. But if you're looking for a special event, please come. The Entrepreneurs Networking Group is a blast. The new member that we had come in, she was here for 4 hours her first day. She grabbed her art stuff and just came on. And then got to meet a whole bunch of folks who were just walking through the studio on their way to their studios or their art pieces. They're grabbing things here. So, like, if you're curious, go by. Send a message. Don't be scared. Get mad.
I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up. Is there anything that you would like people to know for the future of M.A.D or for your own art that you might be, or your own project that you're going to be putting up soon?
Oh, man. We're just starting. There are so many things in the future, and M.A.D can be as big as you want it to be. So, just starting the conversation with either myself, the team, an artist in studio. I mean, here to tell you, like, it'll change your life. So, like, if you're sitting there and you're hearing Chris break down how to get a realistic effect on an item, something or other, if you got Saranka giving you his perspectives or proverbs, like, it changes your life. Wyatt and the technicality that he does on his tattoos, like, I'm just sitting there like, dang, dude, and all of the references, all of the things, getting to know everybody. The future of M.A.D is whatever you want it to be. It really just comes down to what you're looking for as a person. But, like, we really try to connect the community in a way that supports growth in all direction. It's not just art. Art's just the beginning. If you can connect with art, that's awesome. One of the things that I found with the networking group and stuff, like, I get to meet a lot of artists, and I know they have secondary lives and jobs and such. But with the networking group, I get to meet them in those secondary lives and then find out that they're artists on the side, and they've been looking at things. So it's just like, art is a connecting factor for humanity. I don't care where you're from. From cave drawings on, doing art. So if it starts a conversation, that's where it's supposed to go. There's no other thing I can say but that. Like, art is just the beginning.
Well, thank you so much, Morgan, for being on today's episode of Saturday Artist Live Interviews. Hopefully we'll have you again soon. Got a bunch of scheduled things in the future, so it'll be a few months. But it was awesome having you.
I'm at. We'll see you the next time.
See you later.
Thanks so much, Zeke. Bye.
Bye-bye. And thank you, Saranka, for your comments.
Yes, Saranka is on. See, case in point. Like, meet Saranka. Dear Lord, your life will change. Zeke's, just come by the studio, guys. I can't say it enough. Just come by the studio. I promise. Laughing Purple Mongoose. Sorry. And see the artists that are popping up. Like, it's like, oh my God, hi guys, hello.
It's a beautiful community we have here.
No, very awesome. Thanks for chiming in. And for the folks who don't know, this is actually my first live video. So, like, so thank you for pushing me to do this, Zeke. See, this is getting folks out of their shell. I appreciate it.
No problem. That's why I'm here.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
It was great having Morgan Walters on our Saturday Artist Live Interviews. M.A.D Collab's making a difference. If you're in Spokane, go check them out. You can just Google them and just look up Art Gallery in Spokane. They're, I believe, like the third one down. Or just look up M.A.D in Google Maps, and they'll pop right up. So hopefully see you all at the gallery. Catch you later.